inaugurated one of India's largest battery energy storage systems manufacturing facilities in Bengaluru. With a 5 gigawatt annual capacity, the state-of-the-art plant by Lineage Power, a subsidiary of Pace Digitek, is set to revolutionize India's energy landscape, supporting the nation's ambition of 500 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel capacity by the year 2030. As India's energy storage sector attracts investments worth 4.79 lakh crore rupees by 2032, this facility promises to enhance grid stability, integrate renewables and drive self-reliance under the Atmanirbhar Bharat vision. To talk about battery energy storage system and Pace Digitek, I have with me Mr. Venugopal, who is the CMD of the company. My first question to you is that what prompted Pace Digitek to enter into this space?
India has set a bold and inspirational goal of 500 gigawatt of renewable energy to be produced in India by 2030. And this is a very big and large target. Now, major sources of renewable energies are basically solar energy as well as the wind energy. And now the problem with these two sources are that it is intermittent energy. Like the sun doesn't shine in the night, or the wind doesn't blow by a command. So, but then to produce 500 gigawatt energy, which is actually 50% of the country's total need, if that were to be produced in intermittent nature, and the country doesn't require that much power during the generating times. So what it means is that this energy has to be consumed as and when they generate. But then our requirements, like we do have a lot of peak demands in the evenings where you need more power. So if India has to have a 500 gigawatt, which is 50% of the the total energy, naturally the green energy should be available round the clock. Then only it is possible. Now with this intermittent nature of the major renewable energies, is that it's variable. It's not all the time available across 24 hours. But to make this possible, the only way is to store the energy when they are produced. At least some energy has to be stored and then give it back to the grid as and when we need. We call it as evening peaks and peak demand, it will be met. If we don't have this storage facility, what happens is that one, the grid is become unstable already, and two, energy cannot be consumed. There is a lot of destabilization on the grid. To overcome this, the battery energy storage becomes a kind of indispensable, I would say.
So what prompted Pace Digitek to enter this space?
Two fundamental reasons for us to get into this space. One, we have seen this potential of the large-scale energy storage at least 2.5 to 3 years before. Two, our experience in the lithium-ion battery space for the last 12 to 13 years. We have been in this space for lithium-ion batteries, but are not on the grid scale. It's in the lower scale or kilowatt scale, we call it, for the different applications such as telecommunications and all. So we have been manufacturing the batteries as well as we have been deploying them in the various applications, and we have been taking care of these batteries for its life. So these are the two reasons why we have jumped into this battery energy storage for the large scale.
So how does your battery energy storage system initiative align itself with India's renewable goals?
The more renewable energy that has to be pumped into the grid, one grid cannot take more energy during the daytime at its peak hours. Two, it's not that we consume the entire energy as they are produced, as that is produced. So the storage is inevitable, as I mentioned to you just now. But in our point of view, what we see is that we as a company have developed this battery storage technologies. We have a 5 megawatt hour battery in a containerized solution. And then we also have developed the EMS, energy management systems. So like it's a software which monitors various parameters remotely, and then and also controls this the performance of these installations, as well as the PCS, which is another critical component, that also has been developed within our organization. So the BESS as a DC block, PCS, and coupled with EMS, with artificial intelligence and all, these three become the critical or ecosystem for the deployment of the BESS applications. So having these three in our own factories being built, we find that we can play a bigger role in deploying these large BESS installations across the country.
Right. What does it mean for the country's energy security, this entire battery storage system?
Yes, so we are not going to waste by deploying these PSS systems. We are going to store every unit that is being produced by the renewable energy, renewable energy, systems. So that way, our 500 gigawatt, which is the goal which we have taken for 2030, can be achieved, or can only be achieved rather, by deploying the storage solutions.
Right.
And out of the storage solutions, battery storage solution becomes more doable now, because again there are two reasons for that. One, the battery prices have fallen to 1/3 in the last 1.5 years. Earlier it was about $100 per kilowatt hour, the cell cost itself. Now it has come down to $34–35, which is again, which is actually making this industry to grow. The second is that it is deployable, fast. It can be deployed fast. When compared to the other storage is that pump storage, we call it as. So that is a long gestation period, and here it can be deployed faster because these solutions are readily available. There are flexibility in deploying these solutions. So that makes the lithium-ion battery solutions more prominent, rather, to make this energy security that we want to achieve by as per the timeline.
Right, and we also have realized the importance of private participation for India to reach its goals. So what kind of policy support or government support you would require, and policy shifts you would require, so that more and more private participation is seen?
While the potential is very high, and the private industries like us, they are quite keen to set up and contribute to this energy security mission, we do have the challenges, like as we know, the Chinese have built massive capacities, right from the the raw material for the cell manufacturing to the complete BESS systems. And the second reason is that the Western world is discouraging Chinese products by way of tariffs and duties. So what is the option for China is that they want to dump their finished products. That finished products, I want to underscore, in India. And by that, that will destabilize, or that will not even, help the Indian industry to even set up. Like we are in the Indian industry for the BESS is just in the beginning. We are trying to still understand and build this ecosystem, and we are, working on the cost curves and all. So what help we would need is that, one, we need to protect our market by restricting the finished products from China. Number two is that the cell duty, which is at 5% now, should be zero, we feel, so that will help the industry to grow faster. And also some, the ease of doing business and things, and then PLI schemes. These are the 3-4 things that we would expect from the policymakers to make this industry, possible. If you see the solar industry, maybe 10-12 years or 15 years back, the similar thing happened. Like earlier, the entire solar panels were coming from China or elsewhere. So first, government of India had made the cell zero. The duty of cell is zero. So that made the the industry to grow. Today we have cell manufacturing, module manufacturing. So we would like the government to take the similar the path, the way they have helped the solar manufacturing industry, the way they have helped and supported. I think same thing would be required for the battery energy storage systems as well.
Right. I'll come to the new facility that you've just inaugurated. What are some of the breakthrough technologies over there that you're deploying, that you're most excited about?
As I mentioned, about 2.5 years since we have been working with, we have just inaugurated the plant yesterday, and it was inaugurated by Honorable Minister for New and Renewable Energy, Mr. Pralhad Joshi ji. And I would say as I mentioned, three critical components constitute the BESS systems. Basically, one is the DC block we call, which is the battery system. Two is the PCS, power conversion system, which is a bidirectional inverter we call. And the third one is the EMS, which basically it's like a supervisory control and master control system. So these three are our homegrown or in-house grown technologies. So like our EMS we call that energy management system, which is actually it is we have a AI layer, artificial intelligence layer, doing predictive analysis. When does this battery might go wrong? If there is any temperature rise? So there are a lot of control mechanisms we have built that makes this whole BESS system to function for its design. So these are our own technologies, and we have been working, as I said, for the last 12 years on the lithium-ion batteries. That made us to grow these technologies, and we are going to deploy that from now onwards.
So how important do you think is innovation to help the battery ecosystem in India stabilize and also become independent of Western technologies?
See, the Indian grid conditions are totally different compared to the China. Like I traveled to China and other countries where to see these BESS installations. There the grid is so stable, and the BESS application is very minimal. Whereas in India, the BESS will be a very it will play a pivotal role in making this energy security. 24/7 green energy is possible only with the battery, which means that we are going to use the battery to the maximum. We are going to extract the maximum or make the maximum use of this battery. So in such case, what happens is that battery has to function properly when it is deployed in the field. So battery needs to be taken care. It's not that you just deploy it will work on its own. Battery characteristics are different. Battery behavior is different. Battery, particularly lithium-ion battery, is temperature sensitive. And in India, we do have extreme temperatures in some parts of the country. So it's not the standard solution which is worked in China or elsewhere will work in India. We need to have a customized, tailor-made solutions for India. So we have understood this, as I said, for the last 10 to 12 years. So that is how we can say we can differentiate that Indian-made solutions only can do better in the field rather than we import from elsewhere.
So in the indigenization of this entire battery energy system storage, which are the areas you think which require maximum innovation?
See, the control systems, I would say the control systems, which is that EMS we call it as, so that plays a bigger role. And the liquid cooling system is another technology because we need to maintain the battery cells at a particular temperature. So these are the two important features which make the battery perform better.
So these are the areas where most innovation would
be required.
Right.
Yes.
What about economic footprint and employment generation that you see will come from scaling of battery energy storage systems from manufacturing them in India?
See, I think the statistics are the plan talks about about 208 gigawatt-hour batteries required in the next 5 years. So that's by 2030, and we do have some reports saying about by 2047 this and the battery storage growth would be 1,847 gigawatt-hour. So the potential is huge. And even Honorable Minister mentioned yesterday that the BESS is going to be the biggest thing in the energy sector, he said. Right. So for sure it is going to generate a lot of employment because, as I mentioned, batteries, the employment comes from the manufacturing side, employment comes from the field operations because we need to have a close monitoring of these batteries that are deployed in the field. So entire value chain, the human resources will be required and a lot of employment would be generated for sure.
आप सभी का स्वागत करती हूँ NDTV क्रिएटर्स मंच पर।
बात करो तो लफ्जों से भी खुशबू आती है, लगता है इस लड़की को भी उर्दू आती है।
एक्चुअली जब मैं शुरू में मेरी बुक्स आई तो मेरे को क्रिटिक्स वगैरह ने ज़्यादा पसंद नहीं किया, तो मैंने कहा अब क्या करेंगे, तो एक ही तरीका है कि जनता पसंद कर ले।
भुला दे, अब तो भुला दे कि भूल किसकी थी, अशोक चक्रधर सारा जहान तेरा है।
मेरे जन्मों के सारे पाप मिट जाएंगे, राम आएंगे।
आपने reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years. I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti, also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
India's IT capital is always bustling, a city full of startups, stories and surprises. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
कहना इस दीवार पे इतने इश्तहार चिपके हैं कि कोई दरार नजर नहीं आती। मैं उन लोगों में से जो कहता हूँ सारे इश्तहार फाड़ के फेंको, पहले दरार को एड्रेस करो।
ये दरार इसलिए क्योंकि कुछ लेफ्ट कुछ राइट, पर हम उन मुद्दों में आपके साथ जिनसे आपकी फाइट है। डिजिटल से देश समझा, अब टीवी पर समाधान लाना है। आइए मेरे साथ खबरों की कचहरी में सिर्फ NDTV पर।
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Now the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves.
And Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash.
Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edappadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players, and this is going to be the ultimate test.
कोई जरूरत तो उसको इंटरव्यू देने की।
गायकवाड़ साहब ऐसे मत कीजिए।
लोग देख रहे तो कर रहा है, लोग देख रहे तो कर रहा है।
किसने हक दिया आपको हाथ उठाने का?
अगर फिर से कोई ऐसी गलती करेगा तो मैं छोड़ूंगा नहीं।
सर आप लाइव हैं NDTV पर।
मैं सही बात कर रहा हूँ तो
आपकी जो आवाज है,
आप मेरी आवाज ब्रेक मत कीजिए, मेरा पूरा सुन लीजिए।
देखा है, सबने
वरना
सुना है।
मैं तुम्हारी बात नहीं करूंगा।
What are the sustainability measures that your company is adopting?
Sustainability
to ensure basically for end of life management of
exactly. So these batteries normally we talk about about 12,000 cycles to now even they are going up to 14,000 cycles, which is about 12 to 15 to 20 years the batteries can run. But what happens is when the batteries are deployed and it's like the contractual period is over, still some energy would be left in the battery, which could be about 50 to 60% of the energy would be left. So there are two ways of looking at before really disposing them. One, repurposing of the lithium-ion batteries, we call it as. What it means is, from a critical application, we take these batteries onto a non-critical application. Still, it can play a role. Like for example, from fast discharge to a slow discharge, you can apply. So the batteries will come function there for some more, because there will be some more cycles left. Right. So the repurposing of the lithium-ion battery would be the first step. And then second step would be the recycling. That means you kind of convert back this cell into a black mass, we call it, and then extract the minerals out of that. Right. So these are the two ways. So that, and then these the technologies are available readily, and already people are doing it. So both would be applied from, as I said, first is the repurposing, the second one is the recycling. Both technologies are available, and the ecosystem is getting built further also. So we don't see any problem for the recycling of these lithium-ion batteries.
Before I end, I have to ask you this question. That is, you mentioned that these are the early days of the battery ecosystem in India. So is this also, this end-of-life management, also another area which will see perhaps a lot of interest from the private sector going ahead?
Yes, yes, because these minerals, like they are being the the rare earth materials. Yes. So for sure, we would like to extract the every gram of the lithium from the used cells. And that would be another industry that would be growing maybe after a few years.
For Pace Digitek, is that another area that you would want to?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like, for us, after this, as we mentioned yesterday, as we have inaugurated 5 gigawatt plant, the next step for us would be to build the cell manufacturing itself. So we are going to build a cell manufacturing. In fact, Government of Karnataka has allotted land for that as well. So once we set up that cell, and then complete backward integration is going to be with us. With that, then we would be adding the recycling plant as well.
Right.
So that makes the whole,
the entire circle complete.
Exactly.
Right. You mentioned the massive requirement that India has when it comes to battery storage. Do you think that the growth of the industry is keeping pace with that?
Yes, I think it all started with the different organizations calling for the tenders, and already a lot of tenders have been awarded, and some of them are just getting into the implementation stage as well. The ecosystem is basically comes from the manufacturing and the critical components, and the EPC part, like project execution and the services. We can divide into 3 parts: manufacturing, and then the deployment and the maintenance, we can call. So these 3 put together becomes the entire ecosystem for that. Now, if you see that the manufacturing is, of course, it's like people are, like us, many people have started and they are starting. So they are getting built. Today we do not have the cell technology in India. The cell, all of us are importing from outside. Yes. But of course that also will happen. Sooner or later, the cell also would be available in India. And once we make this, and then there are 3 critical components I mentioned to you earlier, that the battery system, the power converters, and the energy management system. These 3 become the critical components, and that, like somebody like us would be ready, and there are people getting ready with these 3 components, either individually or together. Once we have these 3 critical components, the deployment is more or less similar to the the solar installations on the AC side, we call it. That means after these 3 components, the rest of it is more or less same as that the solar installations. So that ecosystem is already available. And then the services, like for example, we as Pace and Lineage, which is our manufacturing company's brand, we have hundreds of engineers deployed across the country to take care of the product life cycle management. So that ecosystem would be getting ready. So one good thing is in India, the scale is big, so we all also adapt to that kind of pace. So I'm sure the ecosystem is getting built and thick and fast, and the projects are being awarded, the work is about to begin, and we see that this will quickly get ready in the next probably a year or so.
Right. So what you're talking about is almost a hockey stick growth in this sector.
Absolutely.
Do you see adequate finance for all of this to happen?
Yes, I think there are one from the government side. There is a VGF, Viability Gap Fund. They are creating. In their first tranche, they had given about 27 lakh rupees per megawatt hour as VGF, and the second tranche, which was announced about 2 weeks back, is about 18 lakhs. With this, a lot of projects being taken by developers, and I'm sure they would be placing orders to the manufacturers like us. We also have won about 4 projects as a developer, so we'll be using our captive for our own projects. Our production for the next 5-6 months would be used for our own projects as well. So yes, projects are being awarded, manufacturing is getting built, and the entire ecosystem of field operations also is getting built. We see that we will certainly grow to that level of to keep up the pace with the growth what we are anticipating. I think industry is getting ready.
Right. What about Pace Digitek specifically? What are your goals for, say, the short term, just the next 1 year? We want to stabilize this manufacturing and field operations quickly, which we are almost there. The second step would be to grow another 5 gigawatt hour capacity, because we have kept everything ready. Based on the demand, we will be adding that capacity. That could be about a year or so from now. And later, within 2 years, probably we will look at the cell manufacturing, which I mentioned to you. So that would take care of at least from our point of view, we would be happy to be, to do that much. Thank you so much for taking the time out today and speaking to us, Mr. Venugopal. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Lots of exciting things coming up for Pace Digitek, and all the best for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term?
Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
बदलाव की इच्छा रखने वाले लोग, उनको ये तय करना है कि वो जनसुराज जैसे नए विकल्प को चुनते हैं कि फिर पिटे पिटाए अपनी पुरानी व्यवस्था में जाना चाहते हैं।
मैं चिराग पासवान पूरी तरीके से बिहार विधानसभा का चुनाव लड़ने के लिए तैयार हूँ और तत्पर।
तेजस्वी जी मुख्यमंत्री बने हैं, हमारी पूरी सपोर्ट है उनको। हम किंग मेकर की भूमिका में रहना चाहते हैं।
कि लोग घर से बाहर नहीं निकल पाते थे।
प्रधानमंत्री जी को बताना चाहिए कि इनका जो बिहार में जो सरकार है, 50% जो नीतीश जी की मंत्रिमंडल में जो लोग बैठे हैं वो परिवारवादी लोग हैं। वो अपने आप को भी परिवारवादी बोले।
जंगल राज लाने वाले मौका देख रहे हैं, अपने पुराने कारनामे करने का मौका ढूंढ रहे हैं।